Oh my gosh, 2022. Well, the good news is that we kind of got out of the pandemic stage of COVID-19. And I think we were all happy, including myself, just to kind of get back to whatever our new normal is. But at the same time, you know, all the way through it, I was still writing music, still working with my amazing team. And, you know, that also gave me confidence moving forward. I was working with a new producer. I still had my same publicist, a creative team, my makeup artists, directors for music videos. But honestly, the most important thing about doing all that and just kind of going into 2022, knowing that I had all of this to do after kind of COVID subsided, was my team. It's like, I love my team because they go into the trenches with me. Like, I'm one of those people in business that I do not like the word no. And so I'll keep pushing and pushing to get stuff done. And the team that I have, besides being insanely talented and creative, they are like the people that will go to bat for you. You can talk the hard stuff with them. They ask the hard questions. They will also find a way to get stuff done. And so going into 2022, I still had my team, plus a couple of new people, and yeah, I was ready to hit it hard. Working with Josiah Prince, oh, it's the worst. Like, I would never do it. No, I'm just kidding. Josiah has been unbelievable to work with. First of all, he's an intellect and a creative, which is really hard to find. He's a little bit of an introvert with a little bit of a sarcastic personality from time to time. Once you get to know him, you kind of have to crack that, and you know, it's kind of fun to joke around with him. But he's insanely talented, so easygoing, and one of the best qualities I liked about him was his humbleness. He's such a humble servant of God. He's so humble, like in his everyday life, in the production studio. I mean, obviously I don't know what he's like 24 hours a day, but he's just such a salt to the earth guy who's just insanely creative, and we had just a really good writing chemistry. And I picked him because he also had, you know, roots in rock. And I wanted another producer that was really familiar with that. And the other great thing about him is, you know, he said it's easy for people to walk in and say, hey, can you just produce the song for us? But he really pushes gently on his artists to write their own material so that it really reflects who that artist is. Because it'd be easy for him to produce or write something, but he really wants the music to reflect the tastes of the artists themselves. And so it was great. I mean, we just super easy going in the studio, and once we found our rhythm, I mean, we were busting out songs left and right. And he's insanely creative. He's organized. He keeps like 3 calendars. His follow through is great. And yeah, he's also a trooper. He was in one of my music videos, and he did background vocals on my title track, Fearless. So it's been a really positive experience. He's just a really gifted, nice, humble guy. Yeah, so I have an EP coming out on July 8th that I'm super excited about, and it's called Fearless, and I do have a title track also called Fearless. The first song I'll talk about is Offend. Offend was the first single released off the EP, and actually it was released September of 2021. So the inspiration for Offend came from there was a surge of people renouncing and denouncing their faith and walking away from God. And I feel like Offend talks about how some leaders, not all, but some in some churches, tend to water down their message that they're giving to their congregants. It's more of a watered down message so that it has a wide mass appeal, which sometimes became the focus of a church. Again, not every church, I'm just generalizing. And so people weren't really getting fed the gospel. I mean, sometimes you could listen to messages and God or Jesus or scripture wasn't even mentioned in their message. So Offend was about standing up for your beliefs, even if it meant you offended somebody. And I always have to clarify this, as I have in some past other interviews, is that we're not out there as Christians to offend people, but people naturally get offended by religion, by the mention of Christ or God or Jesus. It can be offensive to some people. So inherently, we can't prevent them feeling offended. So it's about standing up for your belief in Christ without worrying about offending people. Not that you're intentionally offending them, but you're just, if it happens, it happens, but it's all about the truth. It comes down to speaking the truth, and the gospel is truth. There are no two ways about it. It's just the truth is the truth. So yeah, Offend pretty much was inspired by all of that. Unravel was the second single that was released at the first of the year for 2022. And I grew up kind of on the worship team and doing Sunday ballads, Sunday special solos for my church growing up. And so naturally ballads are they're part of who I am. They make up part of who I am and part of my repertoire. And so I always want to put a ballad on my EPs or my albums that I do. It's just, I love ballads, but obviously I love it with a little bit of edge because I'm a rock artist. So Unravel is that perfect balance of a beautiful melody in tandem with some really soulful guitars. Josiah plays an incredibly soulful solo in the middle of the song. And what Unravel is about is vulnerability. I think vulnerability is at the heart of any purposeful thing we do. And so this is just an all-out vulnerability, bare all song to God about unraveling who we are and turning us into something really, really great that we can't do on our own. So Fearless is the title track to the EP coming out. And the first verse of Fearless, it starts with the line, "Got an invitation." And that's me telling the listener, I got an invitation. But the first line in the message of the invitation is, "Meet me at the mountain." So it's a conversation, it's like an invitation I received from God. It's meet me at the mountain. Walk in grace and power. And so it's an invitation to Him, seeking Him and listening to what He has to say about my life or a situation that we're in. And Fearless talks about you can accomplish so much more being rooted in a fearless attitude and a fearless mindset. Because it's hard living a fear-based life. That stops us from achieving so many things. It hinders relationships, work opportunities, just moving forward in life, just a forward motion. So you want to get rid of that fear and you want to live as fearless as you can. And so Fearless is inspiring people to live a fearless life. And God actually giving us that control and that power and that inspiration it's going to be hard. I talk about how, in our prayers, we want God to use us, except for when we're faced or prompted to do something, we might be fearful about it and not do it. But the song all the way through encourages living a fearful life. Let me show you how. Let me show you how through the power of living a Christ-filled life. So Fearless through and through, it's just about living a fearless life. So there's another song on the EP that I love. It's called Bandaid. And it's funny because I share this philosophy also with my husband. It's one of the great things that we laughed about when we first met, is that I'm sure you've all heard ripping the Bandaid. And what that means is, metaphorically speaking, is just get to the heart of all. Go through the pain, rip off the Bandaid, and then you'll be fine. And then the pain will subside. It's just tough for a couple seconds, if even that, and then you're on your way. So Bandaid is about, if you're on the fence about something, if you're on the fence about a walk with Christ, if you're on the fence about something in your relationship or a change that needs to be made in your relationship, you're even thinking about getting into a relationship, or you're thinking about taking a new job, or you're thinking about making amends, or you're thinking about forgiveness. It's about not thinking about it and spending too much time on it and just rip the Band-Aid. Get it off, because you're missing so much living in that space of debating about should I or shouldn't I. And the reason why people debate should I or shouldn't I is because they're afraid of first making the wrong choice, because then there's the fallout if they step over that line and they make the wrong choice. And then they also just get hooked on what will people think. what will people think if I make this choice? And I'm gonna have to live with possible repercussions of people judging them. Who cares? Nobody cares. I always laugh with my publicist over that line. Nobody cares, because at the end of the day, you care. God cares for you, but you care the most about where you're at emotionally and mentally. So Bandaid is almost like piggyback to Fearless, because you have to be fearless, right? To rip off the Bandaid, because there are little Band-Aids, that a situation, something you'll get over like that, and then there are huge bandages. But you gotta rip the Band-Aid, and you gotta get out of that space. Make the decision, choose a path, commit, and rip that Band-Aid. So that's what I wrote that song about. So Lean is, though it's obviously a rock song, it has a very worshipful chorus to me, and all Lean is about is you gotta lean on God. And it's so funny, because I think of all the times we lean on Him when we're in a crisis, when we are in a broken relationship, when we get in a car accident, when we are injured, when we lose family, whatever the crisis is. How often do you hear, oh my God, thank God, thank God, thank God. But then I think, how often do we lean on Him in the good times and go, that was awesome, thank you so much. The song kind of makes me tear up too. But it's such an awesome song to remind us that you gotta lean on Him in the good and the bad. And it's not that He's never not there. We're the ones that step back. And so Lean is just all about leaning into who He is in our lives, and that He deserves praise. When things are going good, we forget about that. We don't want to just depend on Him and lean on Him in the bad times and when things are crashing down on us. We also want to just praise Him for all the good things and all the lessons that we learn. There are so many good lessons and bad outcomes. And so Lean is about, regardless of what's going on in our lives, in the world. I turn on the news every day and I'm like, boy, people better lean in. We gotta lean into Him. We need to lean into prayer, lean into that. And it's about leaning on Him. So Shine's a really cool song. It is the first time that I've ever written or performed a rock/reggae song. And it initially stemmed from, I'm originally from California, and so I remember back in school, at Carmel High days, we were listening to a lot of reggae. So we had an open campus, and so we would be down Ocean Avenue. Our high school was right up from Ocean Avenue in Carmel, California. And we would just listen to reggae music, sitting in the sand, having our lunch, probably from the Bagel Bakery or Carmel Bakery, and listening to, Bob Marley and whoever else. And so I've always had a special spot for reggae music, but I wanted to integrate it with my rock style. So I went into Josiah's studio, the ranch in Nashville, and I said, hey, have you ever produced a rock reggae song before? And he's like, no. And I'm like, okay, I wrote one, let's do it. Let's throw some music to this and let's produce this rock reggae song called Shine. And so I liked it because it was a first for both of us. He had never produced a reggae type song, and so I was psyched that we were both kind of in uncharted territories. And I'm like, well, the guitar rhythm probably on a Strat kind of goes like this, but let's, we still have to integrate rock somehow, and we can't just take a 180 and step away from the rock genre. So we came up with some things. He came up with some really great rock sounds at the beginning to kind of just, let people know that, hey, we're not straying from rock. And then after the intro, it kicks into the reggae rhythm, which is really cool. And so the reggae song also, it's a very communal type music. You're talking about your brother and your sister and your community. And so I kind of wrote Shine around that. I started with, my brother, my sister, gratitude. Gratitude for you, I think of you, I'll pray for you every day, all day. Shine. So there was a line in the chorus that life is a gift God gave to you, now go on your way. And it's about taking the gifts that God bestows upon us, go out into the world and use them. Use them for the greater good. Use them in your faith journey. Use that to witness to people. Use them in any capacity for the greater good. And it just talks about the continuity of what it's like to live this life, this gift that we've been given. Life matters. And it kind of, it's one aspect to it is that there is such a rise in suicides this year alone and since COVID. I mean, it's been going on for decades, but there has been an escalation in the amount of suicides. And I just want to encourage everybody that life's a gift. It's a gift. Surround yourself with people that will listen to you, that care. The end is not the end. And so this song is about shine. Shine your light. Live this life that is a gift. And find out what that means to you on a personal level. Nobody else, but what does it mean to you? What does that mean to you? And so shine is shine your light. Just going out there, going abroad, go and shine your light. What's up next? I feel like I get asked that all the time. What is up next? Well, my EP comes out in July, and to celebrate that, I'll be doing a live acoustic performance for CCM Magazine. They have a program that they have now, it's called CCM Cafe. And so we get to go into the studio and perform an acoustic set and interview. So I'm looking forward to that. I get to do that in June, the end of June. And I've got a great team on par for that. And then I have a couple of other, I've been working on some new songs. I'm also trying to put together a big benefit concert for the Ukraine refugees, and that's a full-time job. I've taken on no more commitments because I really want to get that done. Like, I really need to get that done. Like, it's a need and a desire to get it done. And then I also want to put together a tour for women, all women artists. And I think, there's so many tours out there. And trust me, I love my brothers and my male friends, but there is such an amazing power and empowerment in women coming together and supporting other women from all different walks of life, different genres of music. And I would love to put together a tour with all women artists. Don't get me wrong, I love my brothers, I love male artists, I love all the big tours going on right now with all the male bands, but I feel like there's so much talent in our female community, and women supporting other women on the road, because it's not an easy life, and it's a heavy commitment. And I just feel like women can sell out just as many theaters and auditoriums and stadiums as a male-friendly concert can. And so I really would like to see that come to fruition. And thank God I have an amazing team, because I really hope that they're on the journey with me to help put those events together. And I think it's due. I think women, we have to, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. It doesn't matter if you're a musician or you're a doctor or if you're in law enforcement. We have to squawk twice as loud, push twice as hard, and really articulate and vocalize our desire and our need and our want to kind of just be where the boys are on the stage. It's no different. We have the same desires men have. And again, I love my male counterparts, but I really am looking forward to putting together some sort of a concert tour for women. I mean, that would be awesome. So it's going to happen. At the end of the day, I really would like to see this EP inspire fearlessness in everybody. Obviously, you got to start with ripping off the Bandaid, making the decision just to do it, and then allow yourself the vulnerability to be unraveled and go out into the world with the gifts that God gave you. Shine your light, live a fearless life in everything you do, spread that joy, be bold. Remember to offend for the gospel. Don't offend people, but really inspire and put some inspiration out there for other people to be led to Christ. And at the heart of all of that, foundationally and emotionally and in your heart, it all begins with being fearless, a fearlessness. So I hope that my EP inspires that in you.